Alright, in this video we are going to be talking about DEEPWOKEN and everything that kind of makes the game good and unique. And I have done a video similar to this before, but that was day 1, I think, or like very early when DEEPWOKEN came out, and I didn't really have a good grasp on a lot of the concepts in the game. And DEEPWOKEN is one of those things where if you just get thrown into it, it can be difficult to get into, but once you're into it, it's pretty addicting. So I got to a point where I actually really do enjoy playing the game a lot. So yeah, we're just gonna be covering it. I started I wiped one of my game saves, one of my characters, and I just played for a little bit, got some footage, and I'm just gonna be talking about the beauty of DEEPWOKEN, everything that's nice about the game, and the reason people are playing it, pretty much. So yeah, let's just get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I want to get out of the way that I really enjoy about DEEPWOKEN is the uniqueness of every experience. Something I was worried about is that when you wipe, you would just do the same thing again, and it would be like, well, where's the fun in that? But a big part of DEEPWOKEN is luck. It's luck based, but in the best way possible. It's not like your luck is completely undetermined. You can kind of increase it by killing players, and then the cards that you draw every time you power up, I think will be better. I think that's how that works. I'm not 100% positive. That's just what I hear sometimes. But just NPCs you can run into, cards you can draw, just everything is kind of, not everything, but a good chunk of the things are determined by luck, and that in combination with a very skill-based gameplay, that in combination with very skill-based gameplay creates a very unique experience for every character, with a sense of familiarity when it comes to the actual gameplay. So even though what you're doing is different, how you're doing it is still the same, if that makes sense. So you may be in different places, you may be experiencing different things, but the fundamental parts of the game are still the same, so you can still talk about it and relate to other people about it, which is a very interesting and difficult thing to pull off, but it is still very fun and cool. But it comes down to just the loot you get, and the fact that you're not told much about anything and you're left to figure it out can be a double-edged sword. You can figure out things and it can be very fun, but again, you can kind of miss certain fundamental things that other people will put together that you won't. And it can be rewarding, it can suck sometimes, but that's just, again, the beauty of everybody's experiences being different. Everybody has their own strats, everybody has their own builds they prefer even. It comes down to your build. You use a heavy weapon, a medium weapon, a light weapon. That surprisingly different. There's guns even. You can main a gun fighting style. Your build can main so many different things, and you can just do so many things differently when it comes to your character and your play style, that you can just be so unique to everybody else, and that is so fun. It just keeps the game interesting. I don't know how they're gonna keep doing this. I don't know how they're gonna handle it in the future, because obviously it's not like an infinite amount of content. There's obviously a limit to it all, but it's just out the gate. There's a lot of things to do. There's so many things you can brainstorm up to come up with. But yeah, another thing that is nice about the game are its Breath of the Wild aspects. If you ever played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's just you can go out and you can collect things. Just every resource is of some sort of value. There's nothing that you could just ignore. It does give it this sandboxy feel. Like if you play Minecraft, it's like you can ignore certain things if they don't mean much to you, but at some point you're gonna need that. At some point, for some reason, for something, you're gonna need it. You can walk by some mushrooms when you first start, but you're going to need them for alchemy down the line. Sure, they're easy to find, they're easy to come by, but you're going to need to go somewhere where they spawn. Luckily, they spawn in a lot of places. If you want food, you can grab wheat, you can craft it into bread. You can get beeswax off the trees, mix it with a fruit. I can't remember what the fruit is, and you can create a canteen, and it's very convenient. There's just so many things everywhere, and the crafting system is very nice. It just allows you to make use of everything in the game, all the resources. Nothing is truly useless. Everything serves some sort of purpose, though some things are obviously more valuable than others. Just everything serves a purpose. And that also ties in, that whole thing with value also ties into the note system, which is a very basic currency system. But of all the things I have like a good understanding of, how you get a lot of notes, I don't really get. I think the best way is like selling selling gear. I think that makes the most notes. Because quests make decent notes, selling like sapphires, emeralds, and all that makes decent notes too. But when you sell like greaves or some like shoulder pad things or whatever, those sell for like 25, 50, 75 notes. They sell for a way more notes than just like some sapphire, some amethyst, or emeralds, or whatever. And quests generally give you like 25 notes, based off of what I've seen at least. But yeah, it's just the fact that everything serves a purpose, and collecting everything is just, you won't regret collecting everything you see, unless you like collect every single brown cat mushroom you see, or every single every single mushroom you see. That you might end up regretting, because you have to balance. It's a balance. If you don't have the strength to carry everything, your build doesn't have a lot of strength, and you can't carry all of those things, then you're gonna need to be like, all right, do I care more about this? Do I care more about that? You're gonna need to take more things into consideration. So that is another thing. It just adds to the what is it? It adds to just the exploration. It adds to the immersiveness. It adds to the immersiveness of the game, having to just consider like what you're going to carry, and even though everything around you has some sort of value and nothing is truly useless, and just there's always resources surrounding you. So yeah. Next, I would like to talk about the progression and the leveling. So the way leveling works kind of took me a second to grasp. I didn't totally understand it, but obviously when you defeat NPCs, you gain XP. Now you'll gain more XP from certain things, but the way XP works, there isn't a general amount of XP your player has per se. It's more or less that each skill has its own XP like thing. And every time you level up one of those skills, your total character's XP will kind of increase. So if you level up 5 of your little skills, like let's say you up your fortitude 5 times, then your entire character's level will increase by 1. Or let's say you up your agility by 3, and then you up your atonement, your whatever your magic ability is, by 2. Then your entire character will level up once again. So each little like stat increase is towards your character's overall level. So you don't need to level up your agility at all. I think your agility at the lowest can be 1 or 2. You can leave it as that the entire playthrough if you'd like. You could just focus on everything else. You don't need to focus on that. And another thing is, the way you increase each of these stats is you can't just like if you want to increase your medium weapon, you can't just swing a sword and it'll increase. You can't just kill NPCs and it'll increase. You'll never level up if you're just straight killing NPCs. What you need to do is you need to have the experience and the equipment necessary to level up a certain thing. So let's say that I have a book about, learning a weapon manual. I will level my sword, and I will have the knowledge on how to, get better with it, but I don't have the experience. So I need to go get the experience. But let's say I'm using my sword, but I don't have a weapon manual. Then again, I still won't level. I need both. The same applies to everything. If I want to up my Thunder Call, my magic atonement, I'm going to need that magic training, and I'm going to need to actually use these skills. It's not something I can just read about or learn about, and it's not just something I can experience. I need both. And I think that is definitely something that's interesting. I never played Rogue Lineage. I have no idea how Rogue Lineage works. I know this game takes a lot of inspiration from it, but it's just something I've never seen before. And I thought it was pretty interesting that it's just like you can't just bandit beat and just up this. That's the one thing I love about this game so much, and it's so refreshing to have that it's not just a bandit beater. There's delivery quests. There's other ways of training. If you really do want to just fight NPCs over and over again, there is training NPCs. It's not the most efficient way to level, but if that's what you're most comfortable with for some odd, peculiar reason, you can do that. But the best way you will find to level up is to go out there, set out, try to find new islands, try to find new quests, try to find bosses, NPCs, certain events, certain things that are going on. And I wouldn't recommend looking them up. If you would like to look them up, you can. But I think the only thing you should look up maybe is like if you'd like a map of the DEEPWOKEN world, just so you don't get painfully lost, and just go from there. If you want to know the levels of certain things, but the levels are simply guidelines. You can make do in a higher level location if you are a lower level. It will be difficult, yes. Can you do it? Yes. Will it be rewarding? Yes. Is it a high risk, high reward situation? Definitely. But can it be worth it? Yes. Can you also die? Yes. I'm answering a lot of my own questions with yes right now. But it's just something you can do. Every experience can be different. If you'd prefer to level slowly, fighting some lower level island, or even staying at one of the spawn islands and fighting a training dummy over and over until you're a higher level and you're more comfortable to go out, you can. If you want to go to a level 20 place at level 5 and just figure it out, you can. Is it a high risk, high reward situation? Definitely. But it's just what makes the experience unique. It's what makes DEEPWOKEN. It makes this like whole MMO RPG game so interesting. Like, it's just, there's not a lot of games on the platform like this, but I really am happy that this one came around. So yeah, I did touch on this before, but it does have to do with leveling, and it's the luck based thing with the cards. Every time you level up, you are given a wild card. Whether this card is a magic skill or something that has to do with a just a perk. It's definitely interesting, and each one is given a class, so you can kind of like, if you look at the cards carefully, they do have classes labeled to them, and you can branch off into whatever class you want. The farther you go, most likely the better it is. I'm not positive, but you can, if you want to pursue a certain like class, like survivor, or I think there's one like bandit or something like that. You can, or you can just pick whichever card you think sounds the best. But yeah, it's a draw of luck depending on what cards you get. Sometimes you'll get really good cards, sometimes you'll get bad cards. You're given a fold option. I don't know if that means like the next cards you get will be better, or if you're literally just skipping out on a card. But I don't know why you'd ever just want to skip out on a card, because there's no bad ones per se. There's just less good ones and better ones. So yeah, but that's really all I have to say on the leveling and progression of the game. There's no real specific order, and there's no real specific order to the progression. Well, there is, but you don't have to follow it. It's simply a guideline, and the leveling is definitely something that is unique and very interesting. Anyways, to wrap it up, what I'm pretty much saying is DEEPWOKEN is being played so much by so many people and is having so much content made about it because there's so much to do, and it's such a unique experience. Like, it's such a different game that we haven't received before. Like, being able to do really whatever you want, and for it to just work out and for it to make sense. Like, there's no points where I feel like I'm doing anything tedious. It all feels enjoyable. The combat is refreshing. Fighting different types of NPCs feels different enough to the point where it doesn't feel like I'm just fighting the same AI over and over again with a different arsenal. It actually feels like I'm fighting different types of NPCs, which is a very, very refreshing feeling that a lot of games do incorrectly, which labels them as bandit beaters, because whenever you're just fighting the same NPCs over and over again, you just get sick of the grinding. But this, if the leveling doesn't feel like grind, I mean, you're grinding, yes, but it's fun. It's so weird to say that it's fun grinding this game, because there's not a lot of games that can say where they can say that their leveling and grinding is enjoyable. The PvP is simply a cherry on top in the large scheme of things, which is so weird. I actually enjoy the PvE, not like more, but equally to the PvP, because it's good. It's actually good, and that is wild. But yeah, the game is just unique. It is a very different experience, and I would definitely recommend playing it. But that is why this game is good. That is the beauty of this game. That is the reason so many people are playing it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I didn't ramble about the same things over and over too much. I will see you guys next time. Peace.